And Hockey Night in Canada on CBC, the Stanley Cup playoffs. No matter what, the final score of this game will be 4-3 for the fourth time in 4 games in this Adams Division final between the Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres. Watch the clock. The Buffalo Sabres force overtime at the 11th hour and beyond. The clock to the upper right of your screen keeps ticking down. It will get to about 9 seconds, and number 13 is Yuri Khmylev of the Buffalo Sabres, and he scores 9.2 seconds remaining to make it 3-3, the Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens. And joining me was an interested observer, Gord Donnelly. And Gord, I know you were standing right beside me as the puck went in, and all you heard was the roar from the auditorium. A new life for your team, and how does that feel?
Well, you know, it feels a lot better than it did when they almost scored with 21 seconds left in the game. But you know, it gives us a chance to get back in the game, maybe force another game, and who knows what can happen. What
was the mood like for the Buffalo Sabres yesterday as you had watched Alexander Mogilny go down, and then the news that Pat Lafontaine, the captain, could not play? Can you describe what it was like to be a Sabre and down 3-0?
Well, you know, it's not the highest time of being a Buffalo Sabre at the moment, but you know, losing Patty and Alex, they're key members of our team. It just made but in the meantime, it made Donald Audette and Dale Hawerchuk pick up their game, and they've done it tonight. They both played very well, so the team is rallied behind them.
I know we talked to Dale Hawerchuk before today's game after the morning skate, and he appeared a little dejected, but didn't appear ready to give up. What was the message from John Muckler, the coach, as you headed into a Game 4 and a desperate situation?
Well, John just said, let's go out and do our best. And, you know, chips are fall where they are. We're down 3-0. We're not going to give up. We're all professionals, and we're playing a game we love. So let's just go out and do our best. And who knows? Here we are. We're in overtime.
For much of the time, the crowd here at the auditorium was silent as you guys were struggling down 3-1 before you made the big comeback. What can it be like in the auditorium when this crowd is on your side?
Well, in the Boston series, we really saw it the first time in a long time, but it was incredible. I mean, it's a small building, and the acoustics are very different than they are, let's say, back in Montreal. The fans are on top of us, and you know, we know they're there. They're screaming the whole time. You know, they enjoy themselves, and they really did in the Boston series. Hopefully they'll be here in the overtime.
Gord, as a very interested observer, we put you on the spot tonight, and we asked you to choose a guy who might score for your team and your team only in overtime. If you had to put your money on it, who would you pick?
I'm going to go with Donald tonight. He hit the post once. He's had some great shots. I'm going to go with Donald Audette, no doubt.
All right, Gord Donnelly picks Donald Audette to score in overtime for the Buffalo Sabres. We are indeed headed to overtime again. 3-3, the Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres in this Game 4 of the Adams Division Final. Overtime, once again, it can be exciting in the Adams Division. Stay tuned for more on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Over time, a 3-1, a save by Fuhr on Brian Bellows. I'm not sure how many people here at the Odd thought the Sabres could use that and bounce back in the third. And after that save, Patrick Roy was under siege.
Wonder what Kirk Muller and Guy Carbonneau might think of that two-man rush up the ice situation with the Buffalo net empty on the play that saw Carbonneau and Bodger injured. Now, Bodger did not come back. I can't quite see the Montreal bench totally from where we are.
Don't see Carbonneau there.
He's not back. No, just checking, leaning way out here. So Carbonneau and Bodger shaken up in that collision, both of them not answering the call here to start overtime.
Audette, Wood, and Hawerchuk up front for the Sabres. Canadians have Dom Foose, Bellows, and DiPietro out there. Hawerchuk had a goal and an assist in the third period to help lead the Sabres back to even terms. Puck cleared out to center. The tying goal was at 19:50. Khmylev, his fourth of the playoffs from Wood, and they added the assist to Hawerchuk during the intermission. Brisebois back to get it. Brad May now on the ice. Canadians 4 wins, 1 loss in overtime, 4 wins in a row. And icing is the call on another heavy hit, and Keith Carney's been shaken up on that collision with Paul DiPietro.
And Ledyard took a run at DiPietro, and the linesmen get in there, and now Brad May comes over to DiPietro, and Carney's been hurt on the right side, the arm, the wrist, what have you. Here it is here. Not a very good play by the Canadiens to start overtime with the icing call against them. But now this is the collision. The funny thing is he went out, it seems he hit the left side of his body, but he went out favoring the right arm, which was jammed between himself and DiPietro.
May have been the way he landed here. on the right wrist.
Well, the New York Islanders have evened their series. There it is. The Penguins in a shootout. After limiting the Islanders to just 1 goal the previous 2 games, they get 6 on Tom Barrasso tonight, and there's the ice pack going on the wrist of number 6, Keith Carney.
With that in mind, we understand Paul Coffey going for x-rays. They now suspecting the injured Red Wing may have broken his wrist in the series against Toronto.
Well, quite a situation here, Chris. The hometown fans wondering if this is going to be the end for their team, or will they indeed be in Montreal Monday night?
Puck along the boards, and Sweeney gets it out to center ice. Here's Brad May. Houlder on the left side. May barging, shoots, and Patrick Waugh the stop. May went crashing into the Canadiens netminder, and he is taken down in turn. And Paul Stewart's going to call penalties. Let's see if he has 1 or 2.
It's hard to tell. He was waving his arms around again. Now here comes Doug Bodger out of the dressing room area. Meanwhile, we're looking at the replay. Brad May, a hero 2 weeks ago tonight on May Day, and he was close to being a hero again. Roy stopped him. May's in the penalty box as we come back live, watching the Canadiens goaltender. The Montreal penalty door is open, but I don't know if anybody's going to go in because they've got 2 minutes up against the Buffalo player. Now Sean Hill goes in the box, and there's 2 minutes up against Hill. And Doug Bodger is back on the Buffalo bench.
You see Dave Hannan also in. He received the 10-minute misconduct late in the 3rd period prior to the tying goal.
Got the feeling this won't be a long overtime.
It's got that feel. It actually felt like May Day all over again for a moment when Brad May burst through. Canadiens 7-game win streak on the line here. Again, 4 wins in overtime. The Sabres 3-2, and Hawerchuk back wins the faceoff. Knocked towards the boards, and Desjardins picks it up. Don Fuß out there, 4-on-4, creating a lot of open ice for perhaps the winning goal. Don Fuß rubbed out. Here's a chance in front. At the point, Desjardins shot blocked by Audette. Jesse Belanger is the other forward for the Canadiens, and now Houlder, the Sabre defenseman, checked, and it comes back to Ledyard. Grant Ledyard to Hawerchuk. Donald Audette. You heard George Donnelly pick him. Audette's been a force in the last couple of games for the Sabres on the wing with Hawerchuk. And Ledyard turns in his own zone. 1:07 to go in the coincidental minors as Hawerchuk backhands it in and heads to the bench. Out comes Sweeney with Khmylev, who tied this game. Khmylev had an overtime goal against Boston. Bob Sweeney did too. Here they come. Sutton fires it in. Sweeney gives chase, and Daniel beat him to the puck. Šmehlík missed Sweeney with the pass, and out come the Canadiens. DiPietro almost had a break. Fuhr off the boards. And Khmylev turns with Sweeney. Yuri Khmylev. A wrist shot right on. He'll chase the rebound. Feeds Šmehlík at the point. Cross ice. Houlder shot right on. DiPietro off the glass. Pass Houlder down the ice. And icing the call.
That cross-ice pass from Šmehlík to Houlder was almost a disaster for Buffalo. Brian Bellows couldn't have been more than 6 inches away from picking that puck up right at the blue line directly between the 2 defensemen. He'd have had a clear path to Grant Fuhr. That would have been a pretty good matchup, but it's the if situation, and it didn't happen. 12 seconds left in the penalties. And most of the play has been headed toward the Montreal end of the rink and inside the Montreal blue line in this overtime period. .2:59 gone.
Presley and Errey for Buffalo. Muller and Keane up front for Montreal. Ledyard and Houlder waiting at the point, and Houlder gets the puck. Ledyard shot just wide, off the backboards, was down. Presley gets it back to Ledyard. Grant Ledyard, the veteran defenseman, spins it back into the corner. Now the two teams at full strength. Houlder at center to Errey. Now May. Brad May goes deep against Desjardins, centers it. Ledyard keeps it in. Presley behind the goal. Errey on the far side against Desjardins. Bob Errey off the boards. Hawerchuk's back out. He set a pick, but Errey lost control. Hawerchuk tries to center. Hawerchuk, backhand. Patrick Waugh makes the stop and held on long enough, and Hawerchuk shows his displeasure with the quick whistle.
This has been a very one-sided overtime through the first 3 minutes and 48 seconds. The Canadiens haven't come close to even directing a shot toward Grant Fuhr. Patrick Waugh has had to make 4 stops, and anytime you've got to make any kind of a stop in overtime, it's a difficult one. Here's the work by the workhorse, Dale Hawerchuk. And Waugh had the angle covered and held on to the puck long enough, as Chris mentioned, for the whistle to go. Stewart losing sight. But we are seeing quite a performance by this young man, number 10, Dale Hawerchuk, who had to pick it up with the absence of Lafontaine and Mogilny, and he has done just that here tonight.
He had 3 shots on goal in the third period, 5 for the game through 60 minutes. Pulled the draw back, and Houlder has it. Bill Houlder looking to center. Now Brisebois gets it ahead, and it's flipped by Gilbert Dion down the ice, and there's Brunet after it. The young Canadian forward, and it's called on an offside, and Brunet has words with Audette.
Now, the other night, the Sabres had 4 shots in overtime. The next shot was by the Canadiens, and it went in. Jacques Demers would kind of like to have that situation repeat rather quickly.
Again, we'd like to salute the people that make Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC possible. Alan Clark, Ron Harrison, our producer here in Buffalo and throughout this Adams final, Ed Milliken, Ronaldo De Cesare, our director, and the rest of the crew who have provided the pictures of this series, which may end tonight, but then again may continue on Monday at the Forum in Montreal. And midway through the third period, we didn't think that was really a strong option. At the point, Sutton shot right on. Daniel clears the rebound. Brunet can't get it out. Sutton cleared it back in. Now the Canadiens get it outside the line. Here's Gilbert Dion. Wrist shot goes wide. Oh, Dion had loved to score a clean one tonight after the controversy in Game 3. Hawerchuk to Audette. There's the shot. Another pad saved by Patrick. Brunet hit by Wood. Hawerchuk knocks it loose. Sutton shot, an easy stop. And Daniel there. Around the boards. Sutton pinching again. And out come the Canadiens. Brunet hooked down, and it'll take even more than that to get a penalty. In overtime, here's Brian Bellows directing it at the net, deflected off the stick of Fuhr out of play.
Oh, boy. Well, the whistle's in the pocket, I think, for Stewart, and Jacques Demers is, for one of the few times in this playoff year, very upset at a referee. Here it comes right here. And the play went right on, as announcers say, when they think maybe a penalty should have been called. There's no doubt what Jacques Demers thought about it. 7 shots for Buffalo in this overtime to 1 for Montreal. But the game is still going on.
DiPietro, Bellows, Dom Foose out for the Canadiens. Khmylev, Sweeney, and May for the Sabres. We've played 4:53 of overtime. Dom Foose and Ledyard fencing along the near boards, and Kevin Collins stops proceedings and sends them a warning. Puck dropped in, and Sabres control again off the faceoff. Grant Ledyard to Sweeney, out to center. Left wing feed, just a stride too far for May. Waugh has to play it. Brad May again, a force along the boards. Kicks it free. Cleared around the boards by the Canadiens and down the ice. And Houlder touches it for icing.
This crowd hasn't stopped since that goal. The power play goal with 7.5 minutes left in the third period put the Sabres back in the game. It was a very quiet, docile crowd from a noise standpoint. Although there were a lot of fights in the crowd at one point. There's Stefan Lebeau in the white shirt, one of the injured members of the Canadiens, looking on. Khmylev not coming back to play in overtime. Doug Bodger did come out after a couple of minutes of overtime. They were involved in a heavy collision. And Bodger hasn't been on the ice yet as a player, but he is on the bench. Maybe for inspirational purposes.
Excuse me, Dick. John Muckler double shifting Dale Hawerchuk again. He is out with Presley and Errey. DiPietro and Hawerchuk were scheduled on this face-off, but Hawerchuk has words with Kevin Collins and exits. So it will be Presley against DiPietro. Canadiens control. DiPietro off the boards, looking for Dom Fuss. At center ice. Houlder's backhand hit Dom Fuss. And now Desjardins will send it in. Houlder back to Ledyard. There's a pass that should have been picked off and just bounced over Bellows' stick. You can hear the crowd groaning on the apparent giveaway. Ledyard shot on the short side. Kevin Haller up to Dom Fuss. And at center, Houlder, who played most of the year in the International League with San Diego under former Sabre coach Rick Dudley. And here he is in overtime of Game 4 of this Adams final. Bob Errey. Patrick Waugh playing it. John LeClair on the left wing. And Presley there for Buffalo sends it right back in. There's May scooting after it. Almost spun away from his check. Now Daigneault sends it ahead. Here come the Canadiens. John LeClair into the zone. Still looking for his first goal of these playoffs. Muller's on the ice. So is Mike Keane. Muller along the boards. Tied up by Šmehlík, and they get a whistle.
We talked about a quick one. Now there's 6:46 gone in overtime.
Might be double overtime like these two teams put on twice in Toronto.
1 o'clock tomorrow Eastern. Game 4 from the St. Louis Arena. The Leafs try to get back even. And the Canucks will try to get back on even terms with the Kings. 5 o'clock Pacific time. The doubleheader on Mother's Day on Hockey Night in Canada.
Man, those series have been so good that even all the mums will likely be watching. There's the man who forced overtime with that dramatic goal. 10 seconds remaining in regulation time. Khmylev out with Sweeney and May. Ron Finn drops it in. Muller trying to go around Sweeney and break right in from the faceoff. In Sutton at center. Here's Khmylev. Missed May with the pass. May after it. He's offside.
Well, slowed down just a little bit. The Sabres had a great start to overtime. But these last couple of minutes, Brad May and company and the Canadiens have sort of been in a soft situation, but we saw May. He had perhaps the best chance. May and Hawerchuk have had the best scoring chances in overtime.
Former member of the Niagara Falls Thunder. Just down the road. And look who's out.
Shots are 8-1 Buffalo.
Šmehlík to Sutton, and he'll fire it in. Hawerchuk tied up with Dion. Audette looks for the loose puck. Donald Audette to Hawerchuk, and a weak shot. Wood back to Sutton over his stick and down the ice, and now we've got a race for it. Brunet after it against Šmehlík. Benoit Brunet is deep. Gilbert Dion behind the goal, flipped in front. Hawerchuk there. He clears it outside the line, sent back in. Dion awaiting it. Takes a shot, kicked out by Fuhr. And it's Hawerchuk wearing the C tonight in place of the injured Pat Lafontaine. And Hawerchuk stays out. DiPietro at center. Domfus left side. Vincent Domfus beats one man. Now checked by Houlder, kept in at the line. Houlder brings it down, and he'll skate out. Tied up by Domfus, and he overskates the puck. Bob Errey flips it in. We've played 8 minutes of overtime. Sabres and Canadiens tied at 3. And for the 4th consecutive game, we can safely say the final score will be 4-3. Domfus against Houlder. Brian Bellows shot right on. And back comes Errey. Hits the line. Bob Sweeney on the right wing. Watched by Desjardins. Errey behind the goal. There's Presley. Tried to get it to the point. Broken up. Great play by Sutton to keep it in the zone. Dangerous play, but a good one. Now Muller takes a hit at the line. And Sutton clears it back in. Brad May, first one in the corner. Khmylev behind the net. Hawerchuk back out again. Hawerchuk taken off the puck, and the Canadiens clear it. 9 minutes gone in overtime. And icing the call.
Hey, he's finally got a good crack at Fuhr on the shot by Bellows. But the Buffalo goaltender had it perfectly played. Well, we'll have our Molson 3 stars for you after the game, and there is no question. Let's not even speculate that the Sabres number 10, Dale Hawerchuk.
We've clocked him at over 28 minutes in this game already. And here's the Fuhr stop on Brian Bellows.
Yeah, it came from well out, and he Fuhr saw it all the way.
From the face-off, Daigneault gets control for Canadiens and feeds left wing to John Leclerc. In the middle it goes to Muller. Leclerc goes to the net. Leclerc stopped by Fuhr. Rebound. Oh, what a save off Mike Keane. That's the Grant Fuhr of old. Here's a giveaway, and Hawerchuk shoots. Patrick Roy saves short side. Oh, they could cheer Grant Fuhr now. And they are standing.
And it's about time. Vintage Fuhr. And the folks in Edmonton looking in will have memories of things like this. Leclerc in front of the net. Keane gets the rebound, and Fuhr makes the save. We are seeing some pretty good goaltending. It's almost cliche time when you say it's too bad one of them's going to have to lose. The giveaway off the stick of Brisebois. Who would you want if you're a Sabre fan? Hawerchuk. He gets the chance. Roy makes the save. Short side.
9 minutes, 28 seconds into overtime. And two of the best who've ever tended goal going head-to-head. Sweeney wins the draw. Houlder, a shot doesn't get through. There's Audette. Watched by Desjardins. Donald Audette behind the goal. Wood parked in front. And it goes through the crease. Past Wood. Kept in by Ledyard. There's the shot. Loose front. Oh, Audette rolled it wide. And Wood was buried in the net. And play whistle down.
Everything in but the puck.
And Randy Wood has more than a few words for Kevin Haller, I believe.
There's the chance in front. Wood trying for a deflection really right at the crease. Obviously didn't connect. He's nailed. Faceoff will be in the Canadian zone again.
Craig Ramsey had an interesting comment after Game 3. He said, the dominant goaltenders since the mid-'80s have been Patrick Roy and Grant Fuhr, and they are facing each other in this series. The next two dominant goaltenders are likely facing each other in that Norris final. Curtis Joseph and Felix Potvin. Kevin Collins drops it in, and the Canadiens control. Šmehlík at the right point, and Dom Fuß bats it past him. And Hawerchuk skating miles is back for Buffalo. Ahead it goes to Audette and Wood. Now on the right side for Hawerchuk. He knifes it in against Daigneault. But the Canadiens defenseman has it, and now Wood takes his man into the net. And are we going to get a penalty? Patrice Brisebois shaken up. And Paul Stewart will confer with linesman Kevin Collins.
The linesman can call stick infractions. Now, Randy Wood was upset from the previous play when he ended up in the net, and he tried to put Brisebois exactly in the same spot where he had been a few minutes before, and there it is there. The stick goes up. Now, the question is there a penalty call? And the conversation is still going on. Stick up, the defenseman down, and the net knocked askew. And I don't think there's going to be a penalty, Chris, because Stewart hasn't moved, and now the Canadiens are talking to him.
And Randy Wood is escaping to the confines of the Buffalo bench.
So you look at this overtime, and the Sabres have dodged a couple of officiating bullets. And Brisebois is upset, and he's cut a little bit as well.
I'm not sure it has been completely determined whether or not Brisebois did score the overtime goal in Game 3, but Jacques Demers was saying after the game that Patrice Brisebois really paid a price in that game, and he said it would have been fitting had Brisebois gotten credit for the goal.
He's gained some few admirers that he didn't have maybe during the season with his play in the playoffs, and he seems to be in the middle of a lot of things like this. They're running at him. He's a kid. He's the least robust physically of any of the Montreal defense, so the opposition tries to take advantage of that. And we just saw right there. Face-off outside the Canadiens' line. They just passed the halfway point. We played 10-13 in this first overtime intermission. First overtime period, rather.
There's Kevin Houlder backhanding it into the Buffalo zone. First man after John LeClair. They came close in the last shift, LeClair and Keane, but Brad May sends it right wing to Khmylev. He'll fire it in, strange hop, goes after the rebound, couldn't get his stick on it, and LeClair turns back. John LeClair for the Canadiens. Goes to his backhand. Fuhr covers short side. Sutton's lost his stick and wisely falls on the puck.
Yeah, Canadiens lucky on that bounce off the backboards that there wasn't a Sabre right there as it came directly out. Boy, we've seen a lot of that sort of thing in this game tonight. John LeClair is always given credit for having one of the hardest, if not the hardest shot on the Canadiens, and he never seemed to use it enough. Now the puck comes out off the boards. Now LeClair has it. What am I going to do with it? He came to a dead stop and then starts up ice. Boy, there's so many of these young players, Chris, this year in the playoffs are getting so much extra experience with all of these overtime games. Stewart holding things up, talking to somebody through the glass down at the Montreal end of the ice.
I'm not sure he wasn't checking to make sure that door was properly closed. That's exactly where the puck caromed off and took a strange hop in front of the Canadiens bench. Although we've seen Paul twice in. There's Muller at the point. Odenline tees it up, shot right on. Khmylev starts back with Sweeney. He'll flip it in. It bounces over Odenline's stick. Brad May and Odenline go to the boards. Khmylev with a big hit on LeClair, but LeClair up with the puck. Now Keane knocked down by Khmylev. May sends it to the net, rebound, all the way out to Muller. Kirk Muller, hounded by Khmylev, who takes it away. LeClaire can't get wood on him. The Sabres winning more of the battles right now for the puck. Muller backhands it in. That hit Ron Finn. Cross ice pass. Daniel breaks it up. Here come the Canadiens. Kirk Muller shot, scores! Canadiens win the series in 4 straight.
Tough one for Grant Fuhr. And Jacques Demers, for some reason, when his team is celebrating, is arguing with the officials. And his players have to come over and haul him away. A strange sight indeed for a victorious coach whose team wins a series in overtime. Grant Fuhr, if we can get a shot of the Buffalo goal crease, is still on his knees. And where the Canadian players are congratulating each other, most of the Buffalo players are consoling an obviously broken-hearted Sabre goaltender who probably feels he should have had the shot off the stick of this man, Kirk Muller. And if you're talking, Chris, about players who it's fitting that they score, it would have been Hawerchuk for Buffalo in that regard, and almost any night you want to name, it could be Kirk Muller. Here it comes from the face-off circle. It hits Fuhr on the way in, but I don't think he really saw the puck coming to him. It hit his stick hand. Right there. It did clunk off his glove, drop down, and the Canadiens have won the series. And the handshakes are taking place as we watch the immediate post-goal celebrations by the Montreal players.
And there are the principals.
That's right, exactly.
11 minutes, 37 seconds into overtime. Kirk Muller's the hero. John LeClaire and J.J. Daniel get the assists. And there's the Canadiens celebration.
You know, the way this game ends. Now take a look at this. This is very strange. So as we take another look at Jacques Demers giving it to the officials after his team had won the series, we're set to join Scott Russell on the ice. There's Guy Carbonneau came out with
the overtime winner in game number 4 to win this Adams Division final. Are you getting used to this?
Well, we've certainly had our breaks, you know, since the playoffs have started, but especially tonight, they're all over us, and give them credit. You know, they didn't quit after being down 3 games, and they came right to the end, and you know, we're fortunate. The last couple games we got a couple wins.
Set up that goal for us. How did it happen, Kirk?
Well, obviously we didn't get many shots in overtime, and we just talked about going to the net a little more and give Johnny LeClaire credit. You know, he went to the net and opened everything up for us, and when we do that, it helps us out a lot. But Johnny made the play all and gave me room to make a shot.
I know you wanted to beat their best. Alex Mogilny went down. Pat Lafontaine was out of this game. Did the Sabres give you a good fight?
Like, for sure, you know, it's when you lose 2 of your top players, you gotta give guys credit like Dale Hawerchuk and a lot of their other guys. You know, when you're down 3-0, you lose 2 big guys. They gave us a battle. You know, they outplayed us for a lot of the game, and give our guys credit for not panicking, and we stayed with it. And yeah, we wanted the winner tonight.
All right, Kirk, thanks a lot. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kirk Muller, the overtime winner in game number 4 of this Adams Division final. Another 4-3 result, and Montreal sweeps the series in 4 games over the Buffalo Sabres. Stay tuned for more on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.